Happy Friday, everyone. So, continue on with our series of meal prep. Today I'm going to show you guys a couple ideas on how to prep vegetables to get ready to have them simply and ready to make. So, we're going to cut up some vegetables and keep them in some containers so that it's an easy snack. A better and healthier snack choice. And then we're also going to talk about roasted vegetables and what we can do once we've roasted them. We can hold them, put them away. They'll last a good week in your fridge. So we'll get to it. Okay, so today I've got some carrots, some parsnips, some sweet potato, some garlic, and some nice herbs that I have for flavor. If you don't have any fresh herb or garlic powder, dry herbs work just as well. And I have Brussels sprouts today. I've got radishes here. Radishes are my new favorite thing to roast. They come out really nice and sweet, and they're completely different. I like them raw, but roasted are really nice as well. So, all you need to do is grab your stuff, grab a sheet pan, line it with parchment paper. You'll thank me later. Parchment paper is really, really cheap now, so definitely use that. All right, so we're going to start off by peeling our vegetables. So I'm going to grab a bowl and I'm going to peel my parsnips and my carrots into this bowl. And this bowl we're going to save for stock for later. So you may not be prepping a whole bunch to be making a stock all the time, but what you can do is grab a Ziploc bag, toss that stuff in there and put it in the freezer. And then when you have enough to make a stock, well then you make the stock. But when you're making stock, things that you need to avoid is anything that I call anything that's kind of got like a stinky, I call it the fart factor. Anything that's going to smell off and weird. So stuff like your Brussels sprouts will give it a funky kind of smell. And your radishes are kind of like the same as turnip or anything like that. Any cabbage you want to avoid for your stock. You're also going to want to avoid stuff like the peel of a potato or a peel of a sweet potato. It'll just make everything cloudy and muddy. It'll give it a cloudy, muddy flavor as well. So, but potato or carrot peel, parsnip peel, onion skins, garlic skins, even when I'm doing the herb, all the stems can be tossed into there as well. They'll add tons of flavor. So, get these carrots peeled. Like that. And I mean, this mix is a mix that I put together, but it doesn't necessarily have to be this mix. You can buy a stew pack at the grocery store and roast those together. That'd be fantastic. Instead of little Brussels sprouts, you'll have the bigger cabbage. You just cut them into chunks. It'll work just as well. So anything you have kicking around, peppers, if you've got peppers that are kind of wilting or dying in the fridge, they're great. You can cut them up and roast them as well. Okay, with our carrots peeled here. There we go, and our parsnip. We'll put that off onto the thing. That. Take the end off. The ends off. And what we're going to want to do too is we're going to want to cut everything about the same size. You want everything to cut. You want everything to cook about the same. So, what we're going to do is we'll just slice down the middle, down the middle, and then we'll make some nice bite-sized chunks. There we go. Onto our sheet pan. And in different shapes too, so I mean they're about the same size. We're just going to cut these into coins. And these are like simple veg to cut. Just peel, cut. Again, making sure that they're about the same size. There we go. And then our Brussels sprouts. Really simple to clean Brussels sprouts. They're just a baby cabbage. So what you're going to do is you're going to just cut the root veg off, and then this part right here will just fold, and you just pick off the non-desirable pieces of leaf, and there you go, done like that. So these are perfect. The trim, again, we're not going to use for stock, but you can definitely use for your compost or anything like that, or if you've got bunnies or any kind of animals that eat that, go ahead. So, same size. So some of these are a little bigger than others, so we're just going to cut them in half. There isn't very many. They're all pretty much. And when you're picking out fresh Brussels sprouts, you can pick them. So pick the sizes you want, and then it'll make handling it a little bit less. So there we go. We'll just put those right there. Nice. Our radishes, same thing. Just tip the ends. These we won't be putting in our stock, so we'll just basically just cut like that. Take these out and finish it up here. We go. So you're going to want to set an oven, a nice hot oven. So oven at about 450, 475. If you have a convection oven, turn that convection on. It'll allow the heat to circulate because of the fan. And in theory, it should take a little less time for everything to cook. There we go. So, a nice variety of vegetables in here. We will cut the garlic. These garlics are from our garden. They're huge. They're just fantastic. So 1 clove. When they call for 1 clove of garlic in recipes, I'm always imagining a clove this size, because you can never have too much garlic. There we go. And the same thing. You can chop it up real fine if you want. Again, if you don't have any fresh, a little bit of garlic powder in your seasoning works really well too. I'm going to leave it nice and big, and I'll have it floating through like that. I like a nice sweet roasted piece of garlic in my veg. Our herb, again, you don't have to be fancy. You're just going to cut. And then you're going to get to the thicker part of the stem, and you're just going to grab it and then go against the grain to kind of peel off the extra leaves like this. And then again, these stems go right into your stock. They add tons of flavor. There we are. Grab that. Put that all down in there. There we go. And then we have the sweet potato. Now, you can peel the sweet potato if you want. I'm not. I like the nice crispness of the skin. Just like a potato, if you're going to roast, you want the skin that's full of vitamins and nutrients. Again, these parts, just toss right in there. Go. And there we are. Wonderful. Boom. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to grab a little bit of olive oil, canola oil, coconut oil, whatever oil you want to use, and then we're just going to drizzle a little bit on top. Notice I've got my thumb over the spout. So it's going to allow me to regulate the flow of the oil coming out. There we go, like that. A little salt. A little pepper. And I'm just going to add a little bit of my house pepper blend. So this is my house hot pepper. I'm just going to use a little bit. Don't need a lot, and that's just going to make it a little bit more personalized. So if you want, you can put any kind of, whatever your family likes to use. And then you're just going to toss it like that to make sure all your vegetables are nice and shiny. I don't know if Shanna can get that in the shot. You get a nice gloss. And then I'm just going to pop it in my oven, hot oven, for about 15 minutes or so, okay? Right like that. And then we'll forget about that for now.
Derek says, hello, Chef. Love your lives.
Hey, Burger. How are you, buddy? Miss you, man. All right. So, what I'm going to do now is clean up my cutting board a little bit, which is really, really simple. Just going to flip it. There There you go. That's a cheating way. You should always clean up after yourself before you start a new project. It's always important to avoid cross-contamination. And we're just using vegetables today, but same thing, is just work smart and work clean. So this stuff right here, I'm going to hold off. We're going to put off to the side. We got some more stuff to add to it. This, I've got no use for. And like I said, you don't want to use this kind of stuff to put into your stock. So if you've got a bunny or if you've got something that eats that, then perfect. You have chickens, wonderful. If not, in the compost or in the garbage can. There we go. All right, so we're going to talk about vegetables, raw, that you're going to keep. So if you've got kids like me and you're trying to get ready for school and stuff like that, it's great to put vegetables and hold them fresh. And plus, it's one of those great quick ideas. You're always looking for smart choices, and I know myself lately, you know, you open up the cupboard and you see a bag of chips, you see a box of cookies, you know, maybe I should avoid the chips, avoid the cookies, but I'm kind of hungry. So, but I do have vegetables in the fridge. I should eat those vegetables. But then you're like, well, then I gotta take them out, I gotta peel the carrots, I gotta cut them, I gotta get them all ready. Ugh, I really don't want to. I'm just gonna go for that bag of chips. It's quick, it's simple, it's easy. But what you can do is if you got 5-10 minutes, or even when you get the groceries home, cut them down and then store them. If you store them in cold water like restaurants do, so when you get carrot sticks and celery sticks on your wings when you go to when you go to Boston Pizza or whatever, they're not cutting those to order. They've got big buckets full. So I'm going to show you how to hold them in your fridge that way. So you can get some good Tupperware or yogurt containers or anything like that. I'm lucky that I've got these because we use these to divide different things for the at the food bank. But you can use whatever you want. Clear is great. You can see what you have. If they're not clear, if they're a yogurt container, then just make sure you label them so you know what's in them. All right. So we're going to go from here. We're going to talk about our celery. So celery, we're just going to take the root off. We're going to keep that right like that. And we're going to peel these all away. Keep these stems if you want. If not, fire them right in here. This part right here, my favorite part of the celery. Super nice, super tender. Great for making salads. But we're not going to use them in our thing, so I'm just going to toss them right in here for our stock. You can dehydrate the leaves and make a celery salt. But for our purposes, we're just going to use these for the stock that we're going to make. So I'm going to put them into a Ziploc bag, just like this afterwards, and then we'll freeze it. Okay, so cut our celery, depending on the lengths you want. So I figure a couple inches, 3 inches long, like that. Super simple. These might be too thick. Then again, right down the rib, cut them in half. Now, you may say, well, Chef, I just don't have time to do stuff like that. I mean, it's a matter of finding time. You know, you're listening to a podcast or you're thinking about getting supper ready. You're thinking, oh, maybe I should get these carrot sticks. And instead of just grabbing the one carrot and make the carrot, grab the whole bag. Do the bag. I mean, it's going to, you know, 10 minutes worth of trouble and not a problem. I mean, even today, find time. All these vegetables are brought from the house today. So I'm taking the time showing you how to do stuff and doing my prep at home. So I'm cheating a little bit that way, but I mean, it's any minute that you can find in the day, and that's what meal prep's about, is taking the dead time or the time that you have, the 5, 10, the 15, 20 minutes that you have, and capitalizing on it to get food easy. So for a lot of people, food is an afterthought. Food is fuel, I hear a lot of the time. And I think food is more than just fuel for your body. It's fuel for the soul. It allows you to get together with your family. So even just prepping like this, it's a great project for your kids to learn how to do. They can learn their knife skills. And it gives them, and again, practice. The more you do it at home, the more it becomes second nature, and it's something that they will do at home as well. I'm always that whole adage where a mother comes to, or a daughter comes to her mother and says, "Mom, when you cook your sausages, why do you always cut them in half before you fry them?" And she says, "I don't know. I've always cut. Your grandmother used to do all of that." So I went and asked my grandmother, and my grandmother said, "Well, it's simple. My pan wasn't big enough to cook a whole sausage. I had to cut it in half." So it's just because habit and the way you do things, that's the way it is. All right, here we go. Peel these carrots.
Derek says he's doing well and misses us both. And Samantha says she misses cooking classes.
I miss having you, Samantha. But tune in this way, and I guess that's the way we're going to have to do it while we're in this orange phase. I'm hoping to, once we go back into the yellow, to start offering our collective kitchen classes. But until that happens, I can't give you a time or a date. But I miss... This is fun, but it's not as much fun as having people here. Okay. So when you're peeling, long strokes, and then just kind of rotate the peeler as you go. I know there's a lot of people that go up and down. That drives me bananas. You're working too hard for nothing. There we go. And I mean, if you don't want to wash these and you want to give them a good scrub, then give them a good scrub. If I'm taking them from the garden and they're new carrots, then I just give them a nice scrub. But these have been sitting around in the grocery store, God knows how long and where they've been. I'm going to peel them. All right, there we go. And again, save that for stock. Cut our carrot sticks to the size we want. When you're cutting, always find a flat surface to cut on, but to find. So see how that's rocking? What you're going to do is you flip that around, and that way your blade stays where your blade wants to be, and your fingers stay where your fingers need to be.
Which is to say, on your hand.
Exactly. Here we go. So, 4 or 5 carrots. You got them nice and ready, like that. And these will last a good week in your fridge. If you got a nice cold fridge and you want to make them last a little bit longer, change your water out in them every second day. I'll show you. So yeah, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. So, what we're going to do with these carrots and celery and these radishes afterwards is, and then the radishes, there we go. Now, you can, I like eating them just like that, but a lot of people like them in salads, so they're just going to coin them up like this. And that works too. And then you can use them that way, but I like the peppery taste of a radish, so I wish you guys had smell-o-vision right now, because that roasted veg is smelling really, really nice. So a lot of times you can tell whether things are cooking or whether things are done by smell. That takes a little bit of practice. So the timer is your best friend, so you set a timer, but eventually you'll get used to saying, "Oh, that smells about done." Or, "Ooh, that's burning." There we go. So again, invest in some really good Tupperware. If you don't have the money, then there's Tupperware around you, yogurt containers, margarine containers. Just remember, don't use those forever. Use them 2 or 3 times, and then get new ones. They're not built to last forever. If you're going to use them, don't wash them in your dishwasher. That's just going to degrade the plastic. Hot soapy water, your best friend when you're talking about using these things. And there we go. Put these in there like that, and we're ready to snack on. So what you're going to do basically is you're just going to fill these with some nice cold water. sure it gets nice and cool. You don't want to put any warm water or anything like that in there. And then we'll just top them up just to cover. This one's got one too many. There we go. You can take these, put your lid on, we stick them in the fridge. It's always a good idea to, piece of tape, marker, put the date on them so you know. Again, if these are yogurt containers and they're opaque, or sour cream containers, margarine containers, always a good idea to put what's in them so you can find them. Story was, when we were kids, we used to collect worms after the rain, and we put them in margarine containers, and we never labeled them. And my mom used to get so mad at us because she'd come to butter toast, and she'd open it up, and there'd be worms sticking up at her, not the margarine she thought was in the bucket. So I learned at a very early age to definitely label what I needed to do. So again, these will last a good week in your fridge. You're thinking about a snack or something? Boom. There you go. Your option is there. It's quick and it's easy. Then we'll, and they will last longer. Don't go crazy. Like, cut a week's worth of stuff. Don't go cutting 2 weeks or 3 weeks worth of stuff, because it will degrade and your water will get slimy. But if you want to keep them longer than a week, I always suggest that you change your water out every 2 days, and they'll keep them fresh and crisp. Okay. Now I'm going to check on our roasted vegetables here. They need a few more minutes, but otherwise they're really nice and they are cooked. Give me a second to grab a pair of tongs. Now they still need a little bit more, but that's okay. Now you can grab this and you can put them in your containers like this. No water, just in like that. Wait till they cool down. Put them in Ziploc bags, and then put them in your fridge for portions. Your best bet, or put them right in the freezer. So you got roasted veg that's ready to go. So you take it out, you pop it in a bowl, pop it in your microwave, warm it up, put it in a frying pan, bring the heat back to it. You can cook them like this, like we have done, or you can do, before we put them in the oven, we had it all together with the oil and stuff. Then you could have put all those into a freezer bag or into the fridge, and then stuck them in the fridge, and then when you take them out, then you just roast as you need, what you need. That's a great way to prep them. But I like having it pre-roasted, so I can use it. So you roast it out the first time, and then eat what you want from it from the first meal, and then you have leftovers for the second meal. Again, that's what meal prep is all about, is you make a little bit extra, so it makes it simpler. You're prepping for the next meal. You're making things, and you're using your prep time wherever you can find it. Or a designated time. And again, like our collective kitchen, get together in a group. Working together makes it a whole lot more fun. Make it fun, make it exciting. Work to your favorite music, put a set of headphones on and block out the world. That's how I do it at home most of the time. I get supper done. The kids are screaming and yelling and they're arguing and stuff like that, and the headache, I just grab my headphones, I put them on my favorite album, and I just make supper. Okay. So that's it for today. Tune in next week. We're going to talk about protein, so meats and meat alternatives, and how we can get ready for those.
And Derek said it's an easy grab to make a salad on the fly after a busy evening at work.
Absolutely, Derek. It is. It's the path of least resistance. You and I both know that if you're hungry after work and you need to grab something, it's going to be, as a cook, you know that it's easier to stop at McDonald's and grab a cheeseburger when you know you shouldn't. But, man, someone else cooking for you, it's so much better than cooking for yourself. But if you do it like this, it feels like it's no effort. And when there's no effort, it makes it easier. All right. Thank you. We'll see you next week.